Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we are covering the financial system, okay? And basically in the last lecture, we have finished the financial institutions, right? We had discussed various facts and figures about the financial system. Okay, we have discussed their types. Even we have seen the NBFCs, means non-banking financial companies or the corporations. Okay, we had seen that there are three of the types like accept public deposit, do not accept public deposits, core investment companies. Okay, these are the topics and these are the things we have discussed. Okay. So basically in this lecture, we are going to start with another important new topic. All right. I hope that you have revised the previous lectures in the well enough manner before you have come for this lecture. So many times I have told you the same thing, that it is for your own benefit. So if you are doing this, that will be a beneficial for you. If you are not doing this, then start doing it. Okay. So basically in this lecture, we are going to embark the journey of payment and settlement system. Okay, payment and settlement system, we are going to, you can say, start the journey of it. Okay, in this topic, we have scheduled the topics to discuss in this particular series. Like we will start with the introduction, then we will see the National Electronic Fund Transfer. We will have a look on the immediate payment service, real-time gross settlement, unified payment interface, conclusion. Okay. So these are the topics we have scheduled for the discussion under the heading of payment and the settlement system. Okay. So let's start with the first part, which is known as the introduction. All right. So basically you can say that before starting this formal introduction, let me give you an suppose the informal introduction, or you can say the idea. All right. So suppose there are two parties, this one and this one. Okay. Suppose this one is the seller. Okay. This one is the buyer. All right. So what is happening here? If the seller has sold goods and services. Okay. If the seller has sold goods and services to the buyer. All right. So in return of it, the buyer is required to pay price of goods and services as per the consumption, right? Okay. That's what we had discussed. All right. If the goods and services have been provided by the seller, then the buyer is required to pay the price of goods and services as per the consumption if it is an economical, or you can say economic activity. Okay. Whenever the thing is in the economic activity, always the prices of the goods and services will be paid. If the activity is of the non-economic nature, it means that either that will be an you can say domestic use, or you can say it will be for a welfare approach. But right now, because we are talking about the economic activity, then that's why we are not you can say including and considering any type of welfare approach and all. Okay, so that's why it is known as the economic activity. So if we talk about two things, the first is direct interaction, second is indirect interaction. If we go by this, so direct interaction means, suppose I am the seller, you are the buyer. All right. You have used my goods and services. Okay. So that's why you have paid me a price in the form of cash directly. Okay. So this is called the direct interaction. I have given you the services or the goods, you have given me the price of them. All right. Next is the indirect interaction. It means that right now you are not paying me the cash. Okay, you are not paying me the cash, but you are paying me the money in the digital form or electronic form. All right. And in the more common way, you could call it as a online form. Okay. Like nowadays, whenever you go to the shopping mall, you go to the complex, even in the food court or normal, you can say, kiosk or the small tea shops. Okay, wherever you go, you will always ask that whether this will be an online or the offline. If it is only offline, it means that you have to do the direct interaction, you are required to pay only cash. But if it is in the online and the offline form both, then you could choose the direct interaction as well as the internet interaction. Okay, indirect also. So basically in this payment and settlement, we are going to talk about the indirect one. All right, we are not going to talk about the direct interaction, because that interaction is simply means that once you use the goods and services, then you are required to pay me the cash. Okay, but in the indirect interaction, we are going to look upon the digital form, electronic form, or more precisely on the common way, online form. Okay, so whenever we make the online payment, digital payment, or the electronic payment, basically this is called as a payment and the settlement. Okay, like initiation of payment from the sender side or the buyer side is the payment. Reaching the payment by the buyer or by the seller or the receiver is the settlement. So how does this operate? We are required to look upon this part. Okay, now I have given you the, you can say, the basic overview. Through this, you can see the flow chart. I have explained you the things. Now let's start. Introduction. Payment and the settlement systems are critical infrastructures that facilitates the transfer of funds, the securities, and the other financial assets between the parties. These systems ensure that the payments are processed efficiently, surely, and in a timely manner. Okay, now if we try to decode this, first we will see the part of the infrastructure. What do you mean by the infrastructure? What is the meaning of infrastructure? Infrastructure basically means steps or processor or system. Okay, infrastructure signifies that there are proper steps, there are proper procedure, or there is a proper systems of doing the things. Okay, thereafter, when we talk about like what are the things which could be done through the payment settlements, so funds, securities, and other kinds of financial assets could be exchanged or transferred by using this payment settlement systems. So between the parties, means senders and the buyers or receivers. These systems ensure that the payments are processed efficiently. It means that effortlessly and in a accurate manner, securely, and second is a timely manner. Okay, so you could say as soon as possible, and whenever the requirement is of the payment should be made. Okay, in India, the payment and settlement systems are regulated by the Reserve Bank of India under the Payment and the Settlement Systems Act 2007. Okay, so basically if we talk about this particular thing, all right, so payment and settlement system, all right, about that we are talking. It is the part of the financial sphere, all right, and more precisely we're talking about, then it is a monetary sphere. Okay, because in it we are not talking about no physical money but electronic or digital money. All right, suppose you could say I am the seller of sugarcane rusk, or you can say sugarcane juice, and you had consumed the sugarcane rus of rupees 10. Okay, so I am the seller. It means that you are required to make me the payment. So I will be the receiver of the payment, you will be the sender of the payment. All right, so instead of giving me rupees 10 rupees, no, you have make the online payment. Okay, so rupees 10 is a currency of India, monetary terms. Okay, I have received rupees 10 from you, but not in a physical form. It means that you haven't provided me the rupees 10 physical note. Instead of this, you have make the online payment. Okay, so in this sphere, we are talking about no physical money, but electronic or the digital money. Got it? So if we try to conclude all of these things, so what we will see that ultimately it is merged under the monetary sphere, and we know that the monetary sphere in India is regulated and supervised by the Reserve Bank of India. Regulated and supervised by the Reserve Bank of India. All right. So keep this thing in your mind. So if the thing is regulated and supervised by the Reserve Bank of India, then it must mean that there must be some proper defined rules and regulations, right? So basically, these rules and regulations are given the power through the Payment and the Settlement Systems Act 2007. Okay, so remember the Reserve Bank of India having the power to control the payment and settlement through the Payment and Settlement System Act 2007. Okay, the RBI oversees the functioning of various payment systems, including the real-time gross settlement (RTGS), National Electronic Fund Transfer (NEFT), Immediate Payment Service (IMPS), and the Unified Payment Interface (UPI). Okay, so basically, if we see that basically we have the 4 main online payment and settlement systems, like starting with the National Electronic Fund Transfer, Immediate Payment System, okay, Real-Time Gross Settlement, and the UPI. These are the 4 main online payment and settlement systems, and all of them are basically supervised by the Reserve Bank of India, RBI. Got it? These systems play a vital role in the economy by enabling individuals and businesses to make transactions, pay bills, and transfer funds electronically. Why? Because if we talk about it in a general way, not in a technical way or the formal way, just me and you. All right. So just try to think that right now you having the power of sending the money electronically or online. So what are the benefits you are getting from it? It is very easy, first of all. Second, you are not required to carry the physical cash. Okay. And basically, it also reduces the burden of the work. For example, suppose you have the office from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for example. Okay. And in the mid of it, you are required to pay your electricity bill of rupees 20,000. Okay. So if we talk about that there is no digital payment mode, just example, if there is no digital payment mode, it means that you are required to take the time in between, because generally you can say the electronic office are open from 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. and this on. Okay, so you are required to manage the time in between. It means that you have to take the half day. Okay, and then you are required to visit the local branch of Department of Electricity. Okay, you have to stand in the queue. That's then only you will be able to make the payment. All right, and this is very you can say very hustling work, because you are required to stand in the queue for a long hours. Okay, then you have to do a lot of paperwork and this and all. Okay, but when we talk about the second scenario, in which we have the digital payment mode. So what you are required is that you have to visit the website of the Department of Electronics or Electricity, whatever is there. Okay, just go there and dial your numbers which you have. Okay, feed the information, and then by using your bank account and your internet package, you could easily make the payment of rupees 20,000. You are not required to go to the local branch, okay, and present yourself there for a long day and this and that. All right, so that's why it's make a vital role, because now the individuals and businesses are free to make the payments efficiently, securely, and in a timely manner. They are not required to visit the branches and the departments physically, do the hustling job and making the paperwork and all. Okay. They help reduce the dependence on the cash transactions, improve the financial inclusion, and enhance the efficiency of the financial system. All right. So after finishing the introduction part, now we have to enter under the National Electronic Fund Transfer, which is also known as NEFT. Okay. So let's start. First is the introduction. NEFT stands for the National Electronic Funds Transfer. It is a full form. Please keep this full form in your mind. Okay. It is a system introduced by the Reserve Bank of India for nationwide electronic payments. Allow individuals to transfer money to each other across the country. Okay. So first thing what we have, you can say discovered here, is that it was introduced by the Reserve Bank of India. Second, works nationwide. And basically it is works domestically across the country. All right. Three things we have identified here. Okay. Thereafter, if we move forward, both the sender, benefactor, and the receiver, beneficiary, need to have bank accounts in any branch to use the NEFT. This electronic mode enables quick money transfer, usually completed within a few minutes. Unlike the traditional banking hours, NEFT is available round the clock, allowing for transfer at any time. So what we have seen here, let's understand. First is, suppose this is you, this is me. You are the sender, or we could call you as a benefactor. I am the receiver, or you could call me as a beneficiary, right? This is the you can say scenario. All right. So if you are required to send me the money of rupees 50,000, for example, 15,000. So first condition is that both must have a bank account. It is the first condition. Whether it's a sender or the receiver, both must having the best bank account. Any of them does not having the bank account, the transaction could not be proceed. First thing. Okay. Second is, it is paperless transaction. Okay. Like if we talk about the traditional way, not the digital way. Okay, we are talking about the traditional way. Then you are required to visit the physical branch. Then you are required to fill up some forms. Then you are required to submit them at the counter. Then the counter will verify. Then counter will proceed it further. Okay, then it will be go to the payment department. Then the payment department will make the payment and all. Okay, so this is a long process. But in digital form, this is paperless transaction. You are required to send the instruction to the bank. Then the bank will make the payment in few minutes. Second, it is in the timely manner, or you can say round the clock. Okay, it means that you could make the payment anytime. You are not required to go to the bank only at specific times. Like if we talk about the traditional banking, so generally the bank used to have the fixed working hours for the transaction. Like suppose from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is the time period you are required to visit the traditional banks in order to proceed your transaction. Beyond 1 p.m. or after 1 p.m. basically, after 1 p.m. the bank will not proceed your transaction. You are required to visit the bank again on the next day. Okay, so this type of hurdles, this type of hustles have been removed after the introduction of the National Electronic Fund Transfer. Okay, so now we are required to talk about the essential. Okay, like the essentials. What is the essential requirements for the National Electronic Fund Transfer? Name of beneficiary, branch name, bank name, account type, account number, branch IFSC code. Okay, so these are the 6 things you are required for the beneficiary, or you can say for the making of the payment. Okay, for example, suppose if we talk about the beneficiary part, so suppose my name is Mr. X. Okay, so you are the sender, you are the benefactor. So first you will mention my name, that you are making the payment to Mr. X. Second, branch. Whenever you go to the bank, you open your bank account, there must be some branch in which you have opened your bank account. For example, suppose this is you. Okay, you are living in a city like Delhi, for example. In Delhi, there are some places like Janpuri, okay, Karol Bagh, all right. You can say Rajiv Chowk, Patel Nagar, all right, and you can say Dhola Kua. So these are the places. For example, you having the bank account in the SBI. Okay, so SBI having various branches in these areas. Okay, now in which of the branch you had visited the SBI and open your account, that will be your branch. For example, out of these areas, you have visited the Karol Bagh, or you can say Karol Bagh branch of the SBI where you have opened your account. So your branch will be Karol Bagh. Okay, that's how the branch system works. Bank name we have discussed. Suppose you having the account in the SBI, so SBI. All right, got it. Thereafter, account type. Okay, like if we're talking about the account types, then basically there are 2 types of accounts: savings and the current account. All right, saving accounts are generally used by the individuals or households. Current accounts are basically used by the businesses or corporations. Okay, so basically it's depend upon the account that whom you are making the payment. Basically, if we talk about me, like Mr. X, Mr. X had a business of juice and confectionery. Okay, so when this is the business, so it means that the account type will be current account, right? Okay, instead of business, if you are just making the payment, then account type will be the saving account. Thereafter, the account number. Okay, so account number is basically the unique number provided to each account holder. Okay, account number is basically the unique number provided to each account holder. Okay, it means that suppose, for example, if we're talking about SBI, so SBI having 4 lakh users of current account. For example only. Okay, so each and every one out of these 4 lakhs will have the unique account number. Okay, the account numbers might not be the same or will not be the same, right? So that will be the unique number provided to each account holder. Thereafter, we have the IFSC code. It is also called as a unique branch code. All right. So basically, if we're talking about the IFSC code, all right. So whenever you have used the electronic ways of payment, you must have encountered the IFSC, because it is the, you can say, very basic requirement to make the payment electronically. If you are not providing the IFSC code, you won't be able to make the payment electronically. Okay. So basically, if we talk about this, the first is the full form. Like, what is the full form of the IFSC? The full form of IFSC is Indian Financial System Code. Indian Financial System Code. Okay. Basically, if we talk about the total numbers in the IFSC, then the total numbers are 11 characters. Okay. The 11 characters are the total numbers of the IFSC codes. Okay. And these numbers are basically, you can say, designed, or you can say not designed, differentiated. For example, like you can say up to first 4 numbers. These numbers represents the bank name or bank code. Okay. Thereafter, fifth number is always 0, left for future uses. All right. Thereafter, 6 to 11th number. This is basically unique identification of branch. Okay. So that's how the system works. First is the first 4 numbers are basically represents the bank name or the bank codes. And remember, they are also always in the alpha form or alphabets. Always are the alphabets. Fifth number, always a 0, left for the future uses if you will use this IFSC code in the future. 6 to 11th numbers are the unique identification of branch. Okay. Like, suppose, for example only, Janakpuri having the numbers like 0 to 3, 4, 7, 8. Okay. Thereafter, this one having the 7, 8, 7, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5. This is having the number like 1, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4. All right. This is having number 6, 8, 7, 8, 9, 1. This is having number 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 6. All right. So if we talk about this, okay. So this is the scenario. For example, let's just try to create the IFSC code for the SBI. However, it's not accurate, but I'm just giving the number. So first is the first 4 numbers are always in the numerical form. Okay. So like SBI, first 4 numbers 0. And because we are required to represent the Karol Bagh branch, then 787245. So this will be the IFSC code for me, which you are required to mention because you are the sender. If you mention this IFSC code, then your bank will identify that they are required to make the payment into the SBI account, and by this they will be identified that which branch it is. Okay, so that's how the payment will be credited into the accurate account. Okay, so that's how the system works. So students, basically in this lecture we have covered till the essentials for the NEFT. In the next lecture we will continue from here. Till then, just revise all the facts and figures we have discussed in this lecture. Be ready for the another lecture. With this note, let's end this lecture, and what we say, thank you.